Joe, I can't sleep. Tell me a scary story.
Okay, this is a story that was told to me a while ago. The story I'm about to tell you unfolded starting on October 29th, 1999, in Salem, Oregon, a small city in the United States known for its history of strange occurrences. In that year, some inexplicable events began to occur that were out of the ordinary. It was so much so that Sarah began to wonder if she was starting to lose her mind. That year, due to work reasons, her husband, their 6-year-old daughter, and she had to change their residence. They moved to a large house on the outskirts of Salem. The truth is, they were quite excited about it because they would have more rooms than they had in the old house, and they would even have a garden to enjoy with the family. But from the moment they entered that door, there was something that didn't fit. In addition to the fact that it was a very cold and dark house, the act of entering that place caused a lot of discomfort to Sarah. It was a feeling that she couldn't describe with words, like a sense of unease and emptiness that she couldn't control. Her husband, John, noticed it, asked her if she was okay, and she nodded her head. Now she regrets having done that because she would later realize that there was no turning back. That same night they began to hear some knocks in the attic, but they didn't pay it much attention because they thought it might be the creaking of the house's materials. After several hours trying to sleep, Sarah began to hear laughter that sounded quite close. She thought it might be people passing by on the street and having fun on a Friday night. The next morning, she got ready to prepare breakfast. "Today, we're having pancakes with whipped cream." It was their little Emily's favorite breakfast. She shouted in excitement, hoping for a response from her daughter. "Emily, come on, let's make the pancakes you love so much." She was surprised that Emily didn't respond, so she decided to search the whole house for her. After several minutes of searching, with tears in her eyes from the helplessness she felt, she decided to call John. He told her that in the middle of the night when he went to work, he had passed by Emily's room and saw her sleeping peacefully in her bed. He reassured her and downplayed it, telling her that Emily was probably just playing and not to worry so much. She hung up the call, worried, with the intention of searching for her daughter again. And at that very moment, she heard those chilling laughter again. For a moment, she was paralyzed, wanting to know where that voice was coming from. It was impossible for it to be Emily. Then, she ran down the stairs. She had to find Emily. She was very nervous, her heart was pounding, and she was trembling. "Emily, honey, where are you?" she asked aloud over and over again. Once again, those raucous laughs echoed. At that moment, she could determine where they were coming from, so she took courage by the hand and prepared to go to that place. She went to the lower bathroom. She noticed that the shower curtains were completely drawn. She had to summon the courage to open them, but she was overwhelmed by fear. At that moment, she decided to count to 3 and open it very quickly. 1, 2, and 3. There was no one there, but she could see at the bottom of the bathtub a sheet of paper on which the year 1999 was written in red, the year they were in at that moment. Not knowing where to look now, she knelt in front of the bathtub, lost in thought. She was very tired, having spent several hours looking for her daughter and finding no sign that could give her a clue to her whereabouts. At that moment, she decided to return to Emily's room to avoid leaving her alone and to protect her. She spent a long time caressing her hair and giving her warmth, noticing that her skin was very cold. Then she realized something. Emily had a small wound on her neck. She noticed that in the wound, those darned numbers appeared again, 1999. At that moment, she thought that if she told John, he would just tell her that it was her paranoia. So she decided to investigate on Inside Emily's room's closet, she found a clue. There was a small hole. It was very dark. She didn't know if she should go inside because she was very scared. Meanwhile, she had an idea, to ask her daughter, thinking that she might know something. "Emily, do you know where that hole leads?" "Well, we all play in that hole," Emily replied. "Who, sweetheart?" "Daddy and the women in black." She was terrified. She couldn't believe it. John was planning something. She thought he was a good man, and that the change of residence was due to a job change. But she was wrong. He was planning something very dark. Quickly and silently, she gathered her things and Emily's and prepared to leave through the front door. At that moment, a woman dressed in black and with a pale face literally emerged from behind the walls. She started screaming and running with her daughter in her arms. The woman grabbed her arm. She could see the numbers 1999 inscribed on her hand, but this time reversed, and with a small detail she had missed before: 666 and an inverted T. She was confronted with reality, the devil's number and an inverted cross. John was involved in a satanic cult, and they wanted her daughter for Halloween, but she wasn't going to let them take her. She summoned strength from where she didn't have it, managed to get away from the woman, and started running. It was nighttime. There were hardly any streetlights, so she took a shortcut and hid among some bushes. They stayed there for several hours. She could see John searching for them in the distance. Also, the two women in black that Emily had mentioned. Since then, her daughter began to recover little by little, and she never saw John again. They managed to escape to a distant place where no one could find them, or so she thought.